Okay, sorry guys. Hello, how are you? My last video cut, so I had to start another one. Okay, so in this video, I will be writing a persuasive text with you guys, just like I did with the descriptive text. Okay, and in this persuasive text, I will be writing about public transport. What public transport, I'm pretty sure all of you know what it is because we did learn it in geography. Public transport is transportation that happens to be public. So that could be like buses, public buses, school buses, taxis, subways, trams, trains, all that kind of stuff. Those are all considered public transportation. Okay? And the question of the day is public transportation the way to go? Like, do we support it? Okay? And I am going to talk about how, yes, we do. We are for public transportation. We do support it. And I'm going to give you reasons why we do support it. Okay, so let me give you my title. This isn't the title, by the way. This is just this one thing you see right here. This is just giving you the idea of what we're writing about today. This is the real title. Okay, so my title is going to be Public Transport is a Real Winner. Okay, that's my title. Okay, now let me introduce, okay, so let me show you how it's done. Let me show you how to persuade. Okay, let me just bold that up as well. Okay, so how would we, so obviously, first things first, we need to have an introduction. Okay, so like we mentioned in the last video, one of the features in persuasive text is rhetorical questions. Okay, so let me just like start off my introduction by asking a question, okay? So, why would anyone not want to use public transport? Buses, trains, trams, and ferries are quick, easy to use, and open to all. Okay? So I hope that's convincing so far. So far I've started off with a rhetorical question. So I'm just asking a question that doesn't need to be answered. So why would anyone not want to use public transport? Like, that's my way of kind of opening up the fact that public transport should be used, okay? And then I bring examples. I'm like, buses, trains, trams, and ferries are quick, easy to use, and open to all. Do you see? I use the three words, three adjectives to help support that, just like the feature I mentioned last time in the last video. Okay? And let me continue. Oh no. Sorry. Okay, so they are by far the best way to move around the city or the suburbs. Okay, so why would anyone not want to use public transport? Buses, trains, trams, and ferries are quick, easy to use, and open to all. They are by far the best way to move around the city or the suburbs. So this is my introduction, guys. I hope I'm pretty, like, it sounds pretty convincing to me. I use a rhetorical question in the first line, and then I bring up examples and use three words, different descriptions to help support my argument, and then end it off with they are by far the best way to move around the city or the suburbs. Okay? Now I'm going to make a paragraph about my main idea. Okay, so I'll start off with just think about it. Have you ever been sitting in your car, stuck for ages in a traffic jam? If you use public transport, you would already be at your destination and be a lot less stressed. Okay, so once again, I'm like speaking to the reader. I'm just like, just think about it. I use a rhetorical question and ask, have you ever been sitting in your car, stuck for ages in a traffic jam? If you use public transport, you would already be at your destination and be a lot less stressed. Okay, do you see how I've kind of flipped that around? And I'm trying to make the reader, like convince the reader that they'd be less stressed and that they'd get to the place they want to be at much quicker through public transportation. Sorry guys, my computer's it's not cooperating with me today. So, yeah. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so let me continue this. So, yeah, you'd be a lot less stressed. Sure, sometimes you might have to change trains or buses to get where you want to go, but it is much more interesting than looking at rusty old bumper cars. Okay, so I'm like, sure, sometimes you might have to change trains or buses to get where you want to go, but it is much more interesting than looking at rusty old bumper bars. So what that means is, like when you're in traffic and you're just in front of a car and you see their bumper, like the back of their car. Obviously, when publicly transporting, it's much more interesting. You get to see a lot more things. You're not just in the same, like, you're not just looking at a car, you can like look around you and all that. That's my point right there. Okay, so let me okay, so that was my first paragraph. Now I want to bring up my second my second paragraph, which supports the reasons and gives some examples, okay? So let me give you another point on why. Oh, guys, I didn't even indent my paragraphs. Let me do that. Remember, you can use tab to do that. Now, okay, so let me bring up another positive point. So another positive for public transport is that anyone can use it, even children. Sorry about that. You can't say the same about cars or motor bikes because to drive these you need to be over 16 and have a license. Not to mention, it costs a lot of money to buy one. Also, I'm going to write it out, like write a bit out, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about finding parking spots or keeping to the speed limit using public transport. Yeah, makes traveling so much easier. Okay, so my second point is, okay, so far I have an introduction, I have my first point, I have my second point, and I'm going to end off with my third point. So, but let me read my second point out to you guys. So, another positive for public transport is that anyone can use it, even children. You can't say the same about cars or motorbikes because to drive these things you need to be over 16 and have a license. Not to mention it costs a lot of money to buy one. And also you don't have to worry about finding parking spots or keeping the speed limit because using public transport makes it traveling so much easier. So as you can see in this paragraph, I've used several points to try to convince the reader. I talk about how even children can use it. I give the age limit. I talk about how expensive private vehicles are, like cars and motorbikes. I talk about how you don't have to worry about finding parking spots and worry about the speed limit and getting a ticket. So it's just so much more convenient to use public transportation. So yeah, now in my next paragraph, I'm gonna talk about kind of end off with another point. Okay, so however, the most important benefit of public transport is that it is more environmentally friendly than driving a car or riding a motorbike. Alright? Why? This is because so many people can travel all at the same time. Less energy is used per person. More people on public transport means less people in cars and less pollution in our air. That is wonderful for protecting our environment. Okay, so this is my final point. So as you can see, I'm going to repeat myself. I started off with an introduction. Sorry, I started off with an introduction. Then I stated 1 point, 2 points, and then my third main paragraph, third point. Okay, so I ended off by saying, however, sorry, why did I write it like that? Oh, yeah. So, however, the most important benefit of public transport is that it is more environmentally friendly than driving a car or riding a motorbike. This is because so many people can travel all at the same time. Less energy is used per person. More people on public transport means less people in cars and less pollution in our air. That is wonderful for protecting our environment. Okay, guys, so um, yeah, I've stated my three main paragraphs. I feel like it's pretty convincing to the reader on why I feel like I've convinced myself completely that I should be using public transportation. Once you have your three, okay, so once you have your introduction and your three main paragraphs, you are going to close off your text, okay? How are we going to close it off? Okay, I'm going to be like, public transport is there for all of us. We should all make better use of it. If, if you need to go somewhere, why not catch a train, bus, or ferry and save yourself time, stress, and money. Okay, and yeah, see? So I ended off by saying public transport is there for all of us. We should all make better use of it. If you need to go somewhere, why not catch a train, bus, or ferry and save yourself time, stress, and money? So I literally closed it off like that. And yeah, that was my conclusion. So remember, I'm going to repeat myself. You're always going to start off with your introduction. Then you're going to have three main paragraphs talking about trying to convince the reader on why they should be doing what they're doing. Okay, why you're trying to convince them. And then you always end it off with a conclusion. Okay, so I hope that helped out. I hope that made sense. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.